If you're shopping on Temu in the US, you should be cautious. There's a good chance you might come across what's called a water run order or a tech order. These are fake or illegal shipping orders created by Chinese vendors running Temu who exploit loopholes in the US logistics system. Recently, a Chinese vendor managing a Temu warehouse in the US exposed how these operations work.
Alright, folks, for those who've been dealing with Temu in warehouse operations for a while, you've probably come across the water run warehouse or the tech warehouse. So how exactly do these work? First, there's the water run account method. It's set up by creating a USPS account under the name of a trading company. Then they use this account to sell items at low prices in the market, and the orders are processed through this account. Because USPS operates on a monthly billing cycle, there's a timing gap, and during this period, they incur no costs. The water run account might seem legitimate on the surface, but it actually has a very short lifespan. These accounts remain open only until USPS shuts them down, so typically they're replaced weekly. The main tactic here is exploiting this timing gap. It's incredibly misleading. Since there are almost no logistics costs, they sell in bulk at extremely low prices and then process orders quickly. Once an account is closed, they open another one under a new trading company's name to repeat the cycle. The tech order, on the other hand, involves fake shipping labels. Here, they crack the USPS label system, directly printing these labels for shipping. These types of labels can be reused, so there's nearly zero cost. Unlike water run accounts, which can be misleading, tech orders don't have USPS authorization. They're created by hacking into USPS's back end, which is why they're called tech orders. So how exactly does it work? Hackers crack the USPS backend, and as long as they remain undetected, these tech orders can continue indefinitely. What USPS can do in response is to enhance firewall security and upgrade their label system. After USPS upgrades, the tech order might stop working temporarily, but it's only a matter of time before hackers find a new way to break through the system again.
I think everyone understands what's going on here. Simply put, Temu is exploiting loopholes in the US logistics system. By delaying monthly payments or using fake shipping labels, they effectively get American logistics companies or the post office to deliver goods for free. For these low-priced items, the shipping cost often exceeds the value of the product itself. This is one of the main reasons why products on Temu can be unbelievably cheap. For example, you can buy a stylish lamp for $6, Lenovo headphones for $3.80, a phone case for 99 cents, or a necklace for just 34 cents. In 2022, within just a month of launching in the US, Temu surpassed Amazon Shopping to top the App Store's list of free shopping apps in the US. These shockingly cheap products all come from Temu, a cross-border platform under the Chinese e-commerce giant Pinduoduo, and it goes even lower. Temu rolled out a pick one for 1 cent deal, allowing each account to select an item for just 1 cent, with free shipping included. On Temu, many products cost less than 90 cents, like hair clips for 48 cents, nail stickers for 34 cents, and small skincare bottles for 69 cents. Combined with new user coupons, it's practically free. Beyond this, Temu offers new users a 30% discount and a selection of 1 cent items, plus a refund without return policy. These incredibly low prices make some consumers exclaim that they're experiencing shopping freedom. So why are Temu's goods so cheap? Beyond exploiting loopholes in the USPS system, insiders have analyzed a few more reasons. Reason 1. Poor working conditions. Like other low-cost shopping platforms like Shein and AliExpress, Temu is accused of selling products made under harsh, exploitative conditions. Reason 2. Most items sold on are unlicensed copies or low-quality imitations of well-known brands. Reason 3. Low production costs. To keep prices low, Temu pressures sellers into razor-thin profit margins, often leaving manufacturers with almost no profit. Adding to this is the semi-managed operation model Temu uses, which allows sellers to manipulate logistics companies into providing zero-cost deliveries. By using this model, Temu achieves price advantages that other e-commerce platforms can't match, quickly capturing markets in the US, Canada, and even Europe. So, is Temu really just trying to help Americans enjoy amazing bargains? That's unlikely. What's the hidden purpose? On October 24th, the Washington-based think tank Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, published a report. Experts at CSIS stated, Temu is actually a spying software disguised as an e-commerce site designed to collect information. The report noted that it encourages customers to shop like billionaires and offers fast fashion appeal. It conceals major security risks. CSIS explained that Temu was coded to function like a digital parasite, making it extremely difficult for users to remove. It uses the user's phone and devices as hosts, feeding on their data. CSIS warned that Temu has close ties with departments within the Chinese Communist Party. These departments are involved in data control and propaganda, turning Temu into a highly effective surveillance tool that could even serve as a node for distributed denial of service (DDoS) attacks. Launched in the US in 2022, Temu expanded to European markets the following year. Its business model skips the middleman and physical stores, shipping products directly from factories to customers. Factory advocate and journalist Fergus O'Sullivan wrote, Temu is less a store you buy things from and more a broker that facilitates trade between Western consumers and Chinese factories. With low prices and heavy marketing, Temu quickly gained market share, experiencing explosive growth. According to CSIS, Temu ran ads worth $21 million during the 2024 Super Bowl and gave away $15 million in prizes, driving many Americans to download the app. To handle the rapid growth, China recently announced new air routes between Zhengzhou and Atlanta, as well as Dallas. In May this year, Zhengzhou Airport saw an 18.6% increase in cargo volume, due largely to cross-border e-commerce platforms like Temu. However, Temu has faced multiple accusations. These include exploiting U.S. Customs de minimis rules to avoid duties and inspections, selling goods linked to forced labor, and potentially being a channel for smuggling fentanyl and other illegal substances. In September, 2 leaders from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission that Temu had been accused of selling dangerous infant products. In June, Arkansas filed a lawsuit against Temu, claiming the platform violated state privacy laws, engaged in deceptive practices, and pervasively collected users' personal data through cheap products. The lawsuit stated that Temu lures users into granting nearly unlimited access to their personally identifiable information without their knowledge. The lawsuit alleged, once installed, Temu can reconfigure itself and change properties, including overriding privacy settings users think they've already set. CSIS also warned that Temu's parent company, Pinduoduo, has business ties with a company that directly connects to the CCP central leadership. Research by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute found that through Pinduoduo, Temu has ties to People's Data Management, which plays a role in the CCP's control over media and data. CSIS stated, it's not yet clear what information Temu or Pinduoduo may have shared with People's Data Management, but it's certain that this e-commerce platform has connections to CCP propaganda efforts. Grizzly Research, a market intelligence firm, has labeled Temu the most dangerous popular app, stating that it has all the hallmarks of highly aggressive malware or spyware. Grizzly Research discovered that Temu has hidden features capable of extensive data penetration without users' knowledge, potentially allowing malicious actors full access to nearly all data on a user's mobile device. Grizzly Research concluded, it's evident that significant effort was made to intentionally obscure the software's malicious and intrusive purposes. As the U.S. government announced action against Temu, a semi-managed Temu seller in Houston shared more details on Chinese social platform Xiaohongshu on October 27th. Just got the latest news. Postal services have started seizing packages, known as water run orders, left outside USPS offices, which use delay tactics to avoid payment. Not only that, but plainclothes officers will also be tracking deliveries back to warehouses. This could trigger a major shakeup in Houston. With the growing volume of Temu orders, USPS has been increasingly affected by tech orders or fake labels, causing significant losses. Recently, Houston has also ramped up inspections, dispatching plainclothes officers to verify the authenticity of warehouse postage costs. Unlike New York and Michigan, Houston's approach directly targets illegal warehouse practices at their source. This trend is expected to escalate further as the peak shopping season approaches. This crackdown doesn't just target non-compliant small warehouses. Even larger facilities might face risks if they lack solid private connections. Penalties for those caught could include hefty fines, shipping bans, and in severe cases, criminal detention. For smaller warehouses without stable business channels, survival will be challenging. They face legal risks, and customers' goods could be destroyed if warehouses are shut down. This would not only lead to losses for customers and shops, but also result in significant compensation liabilities. We've already seen numerous requests to move family-run warehouses, especially those that leave parcels at post offices. Clearly, fraudulent operations like this can't last forever, and it's only a matter of time before U.S. postal authorities catch on to these loopholes. So why would Temu risk so much damage to its reputation? Although it may be difficult to prove Temu's direct involvement in these semi-managed sellers' actions, such large-scale systemic fraud couldn't possibly go unnoticed by Temu. Moreover, as individual sellers, they wouldn't have the resources to hack into U.S. postal or logistics systems. The tech orders are akin to counterfeit currency. Who has the capability to create and distribute such counterfeit tech orders on a large scale? Only those with Chinese government or military backing could manage it. Temu's true purpose seems to be infiltrating users' computer systems. Even if Temu were to shut down in the US, its app would be challenging to remove from users' devices. All Temu would have to do is attract users to install it with offers of low-priced items. Temu is just one of the numerous dark hands the CCP extends worldwide. The CCP's malicious surveillance software has infiltrated all levels of the international community, with TikTok being a prime example, an app allegedly designed to influence and indoctrinate young people. Over the past few years, many American officials and experts have warned that the CCP is using TikTok to spread misinformation and manipulate public opinion in the U.S. In response, President Joe Biden signed legislation in April requiring ByteDance, the CCP-controlled parent company of TikTok, to divest from the app or face a ban in the U.S. However, despite the passage of the divestment law, progress has been slow, and ordinary citizens in the U.S. largely remain unaware of the risks. This is because TikTok has enough funding to engage in prolonged legal tug-of-war, making actual implementation of the law seem far off. Even more troubling, the CCP targets its top enemy, the US, by embedding surveillance features not only in apps, social media, and electronic devices, but also through financial incentives and other means to infiltrate all levels of US politics and business. Recently, it was revealed that various departments in New York, including the state government, city government, and police headquarters, have been heavily infiltrated by the CCP. High-ranking American officials, acting as spies, have reportedly played roles in these infiltrations. Even the mayor of New York was arrested, and many of the mayor's cabinet has resigned amid the scandal. These spies, allegedly recruited by the CCP, would spread disinformation when the U.S. government tried to address CCP-related threats. They acted as lobbyists for the CCP, offered bribes, and sometimes launched smear campaigns against government officials viewed as threats. This might explain why efforts to remove TikTok have faced such significant obstacles. In reality, government officials and business leaders around the world are well aware of the dangers posed by Chinese-backed shopping platforms and social media apps. They and their families would never take the risk of using them. For government officials who avoid CCP-backed platforms, the CCP has resorted to direct hacking efforts. On October 25th, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal reported that CCP hackers had breached the system's communications, targeting the phones of Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance. The FBI and other agencies are currently investigating the extent of this breach, including whether the hackers accessed text messages. The CCP's targets reportedly extend to major U.S. telecom providers like AT&T and Verizon. There's also rising concern globally about the overwhelming presence of Chinese-made phones. A recent news story from China hints at the issues with CCP-produced phones. On October 28th, a citizen in Hangzhou received a text labeled Hangzhou Police Alert, warning about a surge in scams targeting iPhone users via FaceTime. The message claimed that scammers were using FaceTime calls to impersonate government numbers and trick users into enabling screen sharing to steal bank information. It strongly recommended that users disable FaceTime. One report included tips on how to disable the feature. It even cited supposed cases, such as one involving a woman from Nanchang, who was almost scammed through a FaceTime call. Apple's customer service reportedly suggested, if you don't use FaceTime often, it's better to disable it. Online, people responded sarcastically. Every phone can get scam calls. Why not just turn off your phone? Others pointed out, close all highways and there won't be any car accidents. Or, for safety, maybe it's time to stop using phones and disconnect entirely. Mr. Wang, an executive from a Chinese state-owned enterprise, explained that this alert likely stemmed from the CCP's inability to monitor FaceTime calls. He noted that Apple devices are relatively secure, and FaceTime is an app that uses end-to-end encryption, preventing CCP authorities from eavesdropping on conversations. Through messages like this, authorities aim to scare citizens into disabling FaceTime. China's vast surveillance system began as a pilot project in Xinjiang province, and later expanded nationwide. Now, China is exporting its surveillance tech and methods overseas. Whether it's an upgrade in maintenance technology or an increase in human resources for this purpose, substantial funding always backs it. Although China currently faces economic downturns, the authorities have not reduced funding for stability. According to a report released by China's Ministry of Finance, public spending on public security in 2023 reached over 208 billion yuan, a 6.4% increase over 2022. Additionally, public data shows that China's spending on maintaining stability has often exceeded its defense budget. China's comprehensive surveillance system was first tested on a large scale in Xinjiang, then implemented across mainland China. Now, China is actively exporting this surveillance technology and authoritarian model overseas. As the countdown begins for what is considered the most critical U.S. election in history, China's threat in U.S. society has been increasingly exposed. The U.S. government has realized that when people continually receive targeted information from China through platforms like Temu and TikTok, public opinion can be swayed. This could lead people to repeatedly elect politicians favored by China, essentially turning America into a piece of China. Temu's business model promotes purchasing affordable, lower-quality goods, but it may not align with the preferences of consumers who prioritize quality and personal choice. Additionally, there are concerns regarding data privacy and security, as user shopping patterns and behaviors could be tracked. If Temu discontinues its services, or if users decide to stop using the platform, they are advised to thoroughly uninstall it from their devices to prevent any potential lingering data surveillance issues.